Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you might be. My name is Kevin Michael Grace, and this is episode 20 of the KMG show. I spend a few hours for each show going through the news, coming up with different items, things I think might be interesting to the listeners, to the viewers, but there is only one story today. I guess if I'd ever wondered what it was like living in a madhouse, now I know because the world has gone completely crazy. I, I was at London Drugs, which is a chain here in British Columbia. I went there on Saturday and I was greeted with a wall of toilet paper. Because I guess we don't trust in God anymore, but we trust in toilet paper and hand sanitizer. On Friday night at the liquor store, I noticed that people are hoarding alcohol, that people were buying, I saw people buying more than 20 bottles. And I joked about this to this fellow next to me, and he shook his gray head and said, "It's going to be a long haul." A long haul. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's see. So let's start from the top. Trump and Cuomo trade barbs over Fed response to coronavirus. I often go to the New York Post site. Again, amusing stories? No, there's no amusing stories at the New York Post site. There is only death and disaster. Just had a very good teleconference with nation's governors. Went very well. Cuomo of New York has to do more, Trump tweeted. Cuomo quickly fired back. Happy to do your job too. Just give me control of the Army Corps of Engineers and I will take it from there. The exchange erupted shortly after Trump told the nation's governors on a conference call that they would be left to take their own measures to secure desperately needed medical equipment to treat coronavirus patients. Respirators, ventilators, all of the equipment, try getting it yourself, Trump said on the call, of which the New York Times obtained a tape. We will be backing you, but try getting it yourselves. Point of sale is much better, much more direct if you can get it yourself. Yeah, I suppose if you can get it yourself, if it's not already been hoarded by preppers, by people looking to make, 1,000% profits. And again, as I mentioned last week, you don't know that an emergency is really real until it affects celebrities. According to the Post, Idris Elba is the latest celebrity to announce he's tested positive for coronavirus. On Monday, the 47-year-old Luther star took to social media to reveal the news. In the video, the Wire actor tells fans it sucks, adding that Sabrina hasn't been tested and she's doing okay. He encouraged fans to really think about social distancing as well as making sure they are washing their hands. Well, again, it's not as if people need any encouragement these days to avoid any kind of interactions with their fellow people. I went out yesterday afternoon, and the strangest thing, it was a sunny day, and but it was like the beginning of 28 days later or vanilla sky. The streets were pretty well deserted. And whenever I passed anyone on the street, there was furtiveness on both sides. Oh my God, don't infect me. Let's see. Here's an amusing story. I suppose things are really desperate when joking becomes banned. And that's the situation we are at now. An American Airlines passenger delayed a flight to Nashville for over 8 hours by joking about having the coronavirus. The flight was set to depart 6:30 p.m. Saturday from Dallas, but takeoff was hampered by a man who first refused to lift his tray table and claimed he had the deadly virus. People were freaked out because nobody knew what was going on. Another passenger, Brandon Kenny, told the radio station WKRN people didn't know if he was actually sick or he really didn't have the coronavirus or not. The unruly passenger, who was not identified, was ejected from the plane by hazmat crews and police officers who then explained the situation to freaked out travelers, according to a report. Right after he was escorted off the plane, one of the cops came back and kind of explained the situation to the people that were sitting near him and kind of spelled it out for us and told us not to worry about it, and really was just talking about how he was joking about having the coronavirus. But the flight was still delayed by unnerved crew members who refused to fly after the fiasco. Well, it's good to know that we are all in it together. President Donald Trump said there are 15 days to stop the spread, and the old must stay home, gatherings over 10 people must end, and schools, offices, bars, and restaurants close to beat the coronavirus. People are talking about July, August, something like that, Trump said. They could be right in that period of time where it washes through. Trump's report, 15 days to slow the spread, also called on governors that have states with evidence of community transmission to close schools in the affected areas. And it asked those states to address childcare issues as well as the nutritional needs of children who use school for their meals. So America's cities face the prospect of millions of teenagers at loose. Someone on Twitter was saying that this is going to be like a remake of Death Wish. I guess we can only wait. Now, again, I'm looking at a Costco in Toronto, and there's the toilet paper and bottled water in all of its glory. Now, one would think that it would be fairly uncontroversial that hoarding and price gouging would be looked down upon, but Kelly Kreiderman from the Globe and Mail is here to tell us that hoarding is despicable, but those stocking up on toilet paper are misunderstood. For what we know now was a gloriously aimless period when many were unsure of the seriousness of coronavirus, say a few days ago. People felt awkward going on even on a regular run for TP lest they be judged by their fellow shoppers as a survivalist or hoarder. Hoarding is despicable, and especially so in the midst of a global pandemic that threatens lives, social stability, and the economy. News reports of stores being sold out of basic cold and flu medications are worrying. Stores will need to implement more limits on certain key products to keep some online hustlers come vultures from swooping in. Don't be a jerk seems to be a guiding mantra. But to me, the desire to stock up on some extra 24-roll packages of TP has been largely misguided. It's mostly an act of wanting to be prepared for an unknown. It's an attempt by people at exerting some control over a situation increasingly out of control. And a bit extra of everything to be ready for 2 weeks or more at home isn't a bad or selfish thing. A reasonable level of preparation is actually helpful for society. Increasingly, flattening the curve